Welcome to this week's edition of Word of Wisdom. For about 3 weeks now, I've been dealing with Proverbs chapter 9, verse number 1, where King Solomon, the wise man and a great teacher, says, "Wisdom has built a house. She has hewn it out upon 7 pillars." And I've been dealing with the 7 pillars of wisdom. Last 2 weeks, I dealt with character. Last week, I shared with you the fear of God. And this week, I want us to learn instructions. Oh yes, one may be wondering why instructions, because it's one of the pillars of wisdom and very essential in our lives. Yet, unfortunately, a lot of people take for granted instructions. As much important as it is, that makes us and every job we do simpler and guarantees us with effectiveness and cut off all the confusions and tiredness and fatigue. We still downplay instructions. Instructions are time saver, and when it is properly followed, it makes every work go on appropriately. But it will surprise you and I that a lot of people, many people, go to the supermarket to buy items and refuse to read the instructions that the manufacturer or the designer has included in the item. Sometimes it's clearly stipulated or tagged on the item, yet we refuse to follow the instructions. We buy the things, bring it home, and in no many days from there, we realize that is not what we necessarily need. Sometimes we buy things and they are expired and we don't realize it because of negligence of following instructions. We go and buy phones, buy electronic gadgets. Things are very expensive, and yet we refuse to read instructions, follow the instructions, how to fix it, how to go for a replacement in terms of damage, fault, or it stops working. Hey, instructions are there to give you the privilege and the right to know where you can operate well and what to be cautious about. Now, sometimes we go for loans from the bank, and underneath the contract are little written words, which are the instructions of how to pay, the terms and conditions, what to do in times of hardship, when you lose your job, when you cannot more pay it, what you need to do. But because we refuse to read it, in hardship, the lender comes against us, the debtor comes chasing after us, and we find ourselves in a web that we cannot come out, and poverty just erased our lives. Listen to me and listen carefully. Some of the poverty and hardship you're going through is not because of a witchcraft or someone bewitching you. It's just simply negligence of following instruction. I will admonish, even as you're listening to me, that you better pay detailed attention to stop. There are things people have done and acquired wisdom. There are heights that people have attained. There are great men and women who have done it all and been there. And when they are giving you instructions and telling you what to be cautious of, careful of, what to be attentive onto, you better listen. The reason why things are not going well with you is your negligence of refusal to listen to instructions. A person's height of attainment is all dependent on instructions that they follow. Nobody became hero in a day, but they went through process of following instruction. King David didn't become a king because he was anointed. He became a king because he went into the palace to learn what a king needs to do, the demands of a king. Moses, Queen Esther, Jeremiah, Jesus Christ, all of them followed instructions pertaining to life and duties and mandates. As a young boy and a young girl growing up, your mother advising you, be very careful of this girl, be very careful of this boy. Don't go and steal. Don't go and smoke. Don't go and follow someone's husband. You are refusing to listen to the instruction, and therefore it will end you in trouble. You are digging a hole for your future. And one day, if you don't listen, you will fall into the hole you have dug for yourself. The consequences of refusing to follow instructions is very clear. In Proverbs chapter number 13, the verse of 18, he says, poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. He that regardeth reproof shall be honored. Listen, that means if you refuse to listen to instructions, you'll be poor. That's nothing to do with a witch. Shame will be your next door. It has nothing to do with demons. Don't go to a pastor for prayer. Don't go to a man of God. You can go for counseling and instruction and advice, but hey, prayer doesn't do that. Refrain from it. Listen to instructions, follow instructions, and save your life from poverty and from shame. If you refuse to listen to instruction, death can catch you just unaware, prematurely. And if you refuse to regard instructions and you miss a step of instructions, you can lose your competence and also performance. You would perform very low. So what are the importance? What are the purposes of instructions? Proverbs 9:9 has the answer to give us. It says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will yet be wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. So number one, if you listen to instruction and follow instruction, you will learn, acquire, practice, and be connected to knowledge. Learn, acquire, practice, and be connected to knowledge. Instructions will always establish respect and responsibility. Respect and responsibility. If you listen to instruction, it will maintain effective knowledge and apply wisdom for success. Listen to instruction and you will be ensured that you have effectively maintained knowledge and apply wisdom to success. Hey, if this has been a blessing to you, share it. Follow me on Instagram, Bishop Melvin Longdon. On YouTube, subscribe to Bishop Melvin Longdon. On Facebook, follow me on my page, Bishop Melvin Longdon, and also on my handle, Melvin Longdon. You can also listen to me on Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast. And your life will never be the same again. Shalom. I'll be with you same time next week. This is your humble servant, Bishop Melvin Longdon. Shalom. Peace.